Hello, and welcome to Code Your English. I'm really happy you are here today. Thank you for giving me your time and your attention. This podcast is a calm place where you can relax, listen, and learn at the same time. You do not need to hurry. You do not need to understand every word perfectly. Just listen, breathe, and enjoy the moment. This space is made for English learners like you, especially for those who want to improve their listening and speaking in a simple and natural way. Today's topic is very special and very personal. We are going to talk about what I wish I knew at 18. This is not a lesson from a book. This is not a lecture. It is a reflection. It is a quiet conversation from one person to another. When we are 18, life feels big and confusing. We have many dreams, but also many fears. We want to succeed, but we are not sure how. At that age, many of us think we must have all the answers. But the truth is, we are just starting to learn. This topic is important because many people feel pressure in their youth. They feel they are late. They feel they are not good enough. They compare themselves with others and feel lost. If I could go back to my 18-year-old self, I would not give orders. I would give understanding. I would share lessons that I learned slowly, through mistakes, time, and experience. These lessons are not only for young people. They are for anyone who wants to grow, improve, and live with more clarity. In this podcast, you will hear simple life lessons about time, money, learning, mistakes, and self-growth. You will hear thoughts that help you think more deeply, but in a very easy way. At the same time, you will practice your English. You will hear clear sentences, common words, and natural speaking rhythm. You can listen again. You can pause. You can repeat sentences out loud. This is your time to learn English and life together. As you listen, I invite you to stay calm and open. You do not need to agree with everything, just reflect. Think about your own life. Think about where you are now and where you want to go. Let these words sit quietly in your mind. This is Code Your English, where we learn not only how to speak better English, but also how to understand life a little better. One thought at a time. Why age 18 is a special age? When we talk about the age of 18, we are not just talking about a number. For many people, 18 feels like a doorway between two worlds. On one side, there is childhood, where decisions are often made by parents, teachers, or family. On the other side, there is adulthood, where people expect you to decide for yourself. At 18, many societies say, "Now you are an adult. You can vote, work full-time, move to a new place, or choose your own path." This sudden change can feel exciting, but it can also feel heavy and confusing at the same time. At this age, many things usually happen very fast. Some people finish school. Some start university or college. Some begin their first job. Others move away from home for the first time. Life starts asking serious questions. What do you want to study? What kind of work do you want to do? Where do you want to live? These questions can feel very big, especially when you are still learning who you are. Many people think they must answer everything quickly, but inside, they feel unsure and afraid of choosing the wrong path. Dreams are very strong at 18. You imagine a bright future. You imagine success, happiness, and freedom. You want to do something meaningful. You want to prove yourself. At the same time, pressure quietly grows. Family may have expectations. Society may push certain ideas of success. Social media shows perfect lives that look happy and easy. When dreams and pressure meet, confusion often appears. You want to move forward, but you do not always know which direction is right. Another special thing about being 18 is this strange feeling of being an adult, but not really feeling ready. On the outside, people treat you like a grown person. They expect responsibility and maturity. But on the inside, you are still learning how the world works. You are learning how to manage emotions, money, time, and relationships. This gap between expectation and reality can make you feel weak or lost. But this feeling is normal. It does not mean you are failing. It means you are growing. For the first time, many big decisions come into your life. These decisions can affect many years of your future. Choosing a field of study, choosing friends, choosing habits, and choosing how you spend your time all start to matter more. At 18, mistakes feel scary because they feel permanent. You may think one wrong choice can ruin everything. But the truth is, life is flexible. Most paths can be changed. Most mistakes can be fixed. Growth is not a straight line. This is why the age of 18 is so special. It is not because you suddenly become perfect or wise. It is special because it is the beginning of learning through real experience. It is the age where questions matter more than answers. It is the age where curiosity is more important than confidence. Understanding this can remove some pressure and replace it with patience. Being 18 is not about having life figured out. It is about being brave enough to start the journey, step by step, while still allowing yourself to learn, fail, and grow. I thought I knew everything, but I didn't. When I was 18, I truly believed I knew enough about life. I felt confident in my opinions, my choices, and my ideas about the future. I thought I understood how the world worked. Many people feel this way at that age, and it is very common. When you are young, you learn many things quickly, and this can create a strong feeling of confidence. You start to think that older people are slow, outdated, or too careful. You believe your energy and ideas are enough to succeed. This mindset often comes from a new sense of freedom. At 18, no one watches every step you take. You can make your own decisions, choose your own friends, and speak your own thoughts. This freedom feels powerful. With this power, overconfidence quietly grows. You may start to think that advice is unnecessary. When someone older tries to guide you, you may feel they do not understand your generation or your dreams. You may listen, but you do not truly hear. At that age, advice often sounds like control. It feels like someone is trying to limit your freedom, so you ignore it. You think learning from others is a sign of weakness. You believe experience is something you can gain later, after you succeed. What you do not realize is that advice is not meant to stop you. It is meant to protect you from pain that others have already felt. But understanding this usually comes later, after mistakes are made. Mistakes are powerful teachers, even though they are uncomfortable. When you believe you know everything, mistakes feel shocking. Life does not go as planned. Things fail. People disappoint you. Sometimes you disappoint yourself. At first, this feels unfair. You may think the world is against you, but slowly you begin to see something important. Mistakes are not signs that you are stupid or weak. They are signs that you are learning. With time, humility grows. You start to understand that knowledge is endless. You realize that no matter how much you know, there is always more to learn. You begin to see value in listening. You notice that people who seemed boring or strict were actually trying to help. You start asking questions instead of proving points. This shift changes everything. Looking back, I do not feel ashamed of my overconfidence. It was part of my growth. Confidence gave me courage, but humility gave me wisdom. If I could speak to my younger self, I would not tell them to stop believing in themselves. I would tell them to listen more, stay curious, and accept mistakes as part of the journey. Knowing that you do not know everything is not a weakness. It is the beginning of real learning and real growth. School is important, but learning is bigger. When we are young, school feels like the center of life. We spend many years sitting in classrooms, listening to teachers, doing homework, and preparing for exams. School teaches us many important things. It gives us basic knowledge like reading, writing, math, and science. It teaches us how to follow rules, how to meet deadlines, and how to work with others. These lessons are valuable, and they help build a foundation for our future. School is important, and it deserves respect. However, as time passes, many people realize that school is only one part of learning. School often focuses on grades, tests, and correct answers. It tells us what to study and when to study it. But real life does not work in the same way. Life rarely gives clear instructions or simple questions. Outside of school, problems are complex and answers are not always clear. This is where many people feel unprepared, because school does not always teach how to handle uncertainty, failure, or change. There are many important things that school usually does not teach. School does not teach how to manage emotions, how to deal with stress, or how to understand yourself. It does not teach how to build confidence slowly, or how to stay calm during difficult times. It often does not teach how to communicate clearly, how to listen deeply, or how to solve real-world problems with creativity. These skills are learned through experience, reflection, and sometimes through mistakes. Real learning is not only about information, it is about building skills, habits, and a strong mindset. Skills like problem-solving, communication, and critical thinking grow when you use them in real situations. Habits like discipline, consistency, and patience are built through daily actions, not exams. Mindset is about how you see challenges. A growth mindset helps you see difficulties as chances to learn, not reasons to quit. These parts of learning are quiet, slow, and deeply personal. Another important truth is that learning never stops. Many people think learning ends when school ends, but life continues to teach lessons every day. Every job, conversation, success, and failure becomes a classroom. When you stay curious, you keep growing. When you stop learning, you stop moving forward. Learning can come from books, people, travel, work, and even silence. It does not need a classroom or a teacher. Understanding this changes how you see education. School gives you tools, but you must learn how to use them. Diplomas open doors, but skills keep those doors open. When you accept that learning is bigger than school, you take control of your growth. You become a lifelong learner. And in a world that changes quickly, this mindset becomes one of the most powerful skills you can have. Money. What I wish I understood earlier. When I was younger, I believed money was only about earning more. I thought if I could get a good job and make a good salary, everything would be fine. This is a very common belief, especially at 18. We are taught to focus on income, not understanding. But earning money and managing money are two very different skills. Many people earn well, yet still feel stressed, broke, or trapped. This happens because money without knowledge can easily disappear. Managing money means knowing where your money goes. It means understanding your needs and your wants. Needs are things like food, rent, and basic living costs. Wants are things like expensive clothes, gadgets, or eating out often. When you are young, it is easy to spend without thinking. A small purchase feels harmless. But many small expenses, repeated every day, can slowly drain your money. Learning to notice this early can change your future. Saving is another lesson I wish I understood earlier. Many people think saving is only for rich people. They believe they will start saving later, when they earn more. But saving is not about the amount. It is about the habit. Saving a small amount regularly builds discipline and security. Even a small saving creates peace of mind. It tells you that you are preparing for the future, not just living for today. Bad spending habits often come from emotions, not logic. We spend to feel happy, to feel important, or to feel accepted. Social pressure plays a big role, especially when you are young. You want to look successful, even if you are not stable yet. Learning to say no to unnecessary spending is not about being cheap. It is about respecting your future self. Every smart decision today makes tomorrow easier. One of the most important lessons is understanding that money is a tool, not the goal of life. Money helps you live, learn, travel, and support others. But it does not give meaning by itself. When money becomes the main goal, stress and comparison increase. When money is used wisely, it creates freedom and options. The goal is not to chase money blindly, but to use it consciously. If I could speak to my younger self, I would say this: learn about money early, stay patient, and stay balanced. Do not fear money, but do not worship it either. Use money to support your growth, not control your life. Understanding money is not about becoming rich quickly. It is about building a calm, stable, and responsible life over time. Time is more valuable than money. When we are young, time feels endless. Days feel long and years feel far away. At 18, it is easy to believe that there will always be more time later. Because of this belief, time is often wasted, without even noticing it. Hours pass on phones, on meaningless activities, or on things that do not truly help us grow. At that age, wasting time does not feel dangerous, because the future feels very far. But time is quiet. It moves every day, whether we pay attention or not. One of the hardest truths to accept is that time never comes back. Money can be earned again. Lost things can sometimes be replaced. But once time passes, it is gone forever. Every day that ends is a day you will never live again. Understanding this does not mean living in fear or pressure. It means learning to respect time. When you respect time, you become more careful with how you spend it. Many people think using time wisely means doing big, impressive things. But real change comes from small daily habits. 10 minutes of learning every day is more powerful than 1 hour once a month. Small actions, repeated daily, slowly shape your life. Reading a few pages, practicing English for a short time, exercising lightly, or reflecting quietly all seem small. But over months and years, they create strong results. Time rewards consistency, not intensity. Wasting time often comes from distraction and lack of awareness. We do not plan to waste time. It just happens when we live without intention. We react instead of choosing. Using time wisely starts with awareness. Asking simple questions like, is this helping me grow? Or, is this how I want to spend my energy? Can change everything. You do not need a perfect plan. You only need honest attention. Using time wisely also means resting well. Rest is not wasted time. Rest helps the mind and body recover. The problem is not rest, but escape. When rest turns into endless avoidance, time slowly disappears. Balance is the key. Work, learning, rest, and connection all need space. Time is not meant to be filled only with productivity. It is meant to be lived meaningfully. If I could speak to my younger self, I would say this: treat time like your most precious resource. Do not rush, but do not drift either. Choose a few things that matter and give them your time regularly. Your future is built quietly, minute by minute. When you learn to value time, you learn how to value your life. Your friends shape your future. When we are young, friends play a very big role in our lives. At 18, friends often feel like family. We spend a lot of time with them, share secrets, dreams, and worries. Without noticing it, the people around us slowly shape the way we think, speak, and act. This influence is quiet, but very powerful. Over time, friends can lift us up or slowly pull us away from our true potential. Good friends do not mean perfect people. Good friends are those who support your growth. They encourage you to learn, to try, and to improve. They respect your goals and your values. Bad influence does not always look bad at first. Sometimes it comes in friendly jokes, small habits, or negative thinking. Friends who complain all the time, avoid responsibility, or make fun of growth can slowly change your mindset. You may start believing that effort is useless, or that dreams are unrealistic. Friends strongly affect our habits. If your friends value learning, you are more likely to learn. If they care about health, you may start caring too. If they waste time or avoid challenges, you may slowly do the same. Habits are often shared. Thinking patterns are copied. Even the way you speak about yourself can be influenced by your circle. This is why social environment matters so much, especially in your early years. Choosing friends carefully does not mean judging others or feeling superior. It means being aware. It means asking yourself how you feel after spending time with certain people. Do you feel motivated or drained? Do you feel inspired or stuck? Your emotions after interactions often tell the truth. You cannot change everyone, but you can choose who has the closest access to your life. The most beautiful friendships are those where people grow together. These friendships are built on honesty, support, and shared effort. In these relationships, success is celebrated, not envied. Failure is understood, not mocked. Growing together creates a safe space where everyone improves without fear. These friendships may be fewer, but they are deeper and more meaningful. If I could give one message to my younger self, it would be this: your future is shaped not only by your decisions, but also by your circle. Surround yourself with people who respect your journey and challenge you to be better. You do not need many friends. You need the right ones. Over time, the right people will help you become the right version of yourself. Failure is not the enemy. When we are 18, failure often feels like something to fear deeply. It feels heavy, embarrassing, and final. At that age, many people believe that one failure can define their whole future. A bad grade, a rejected application, a failed exam, or a wrong decision can feel like proof that we are not good enough. This fear is very common, and it is often made stronger by family pressure, social expectations, and constant comparison with others. When everyone around you seems successful, failure feels even more painful. Because of this fear, many young people avoid trying. They choose safe paths, even if those paths do not excite them. They stay silent instead of speaking up. They delay starting something new because they want to be perfect. But avoiding failure also means avoiding growth. When you do not try, you do not fail, but you also do not learn. Over time, fear becomes a quiet prison that limits potential and confidence. The truth is that failure is not an enemy. Failure is a teacher. It shows you what does not work, what needs improvement, and where your limits are right now. Every mistake carries information. If you pay attention, failure teaches lessons that success cannot teach. Success often hides weaknesses, while failure exposes them clearly. This exposure, although uncomfortable, is necessary for growth. When you look closely at successful people, you will always find failure in their stories. They failed exams, lost money, faced rejection, and made wrong decisions. What separates them from others is not the absence of failure, but their response to it. They did not stop. They learned. They adjusted. They tried again. Failure shaped their skills, strengthened their character, and clarified their direction. Learning from mistakes requires honesty and reflection. It is easy to blame others or bad luck. But real learning happens when you ask yourself simple questions. What went wrong? What can I do differently next time? What did this experience teach me about myself? These questions turn pain into progress. They transform failure into wisdom. At 18, emotions are strong, and perspective is limited. A small failure feels huge. With time, you realize that most failures are temporary. They are moments, not identities. Failing does not mean you are a failure. It means you are human. Accepting this truth brings relief and courage. It allows you to move forward without carrying unnecessary shame. If I could speak to my younger self, I would say this: do not be afraid of falling. Be afraid of standing still. Failure will visit you many times in life. Welcome it as a guide, not a judge. Learn from it, thank it, and continue walking. Every mistake you survive makes you stronger, wiser, and closer to the person you are becoming. Mental health and self-care matter. When we are young, mental health is often ignored or misunderstood. At 18, life starts to move very fast. New responsibilities appear, expectations increase, and pressure quietly grows. Many young people feel stress, but do not know how to explain it. They feel pressure to succeed, to make the right choices, and to move forward quickly. At the same time, they see others online who look happy, confident, and successful. This constant comparison can make someone feel small, lost, or not good enough, even when they are trying their best. Stress at this age does not always come from one big problem. It often comes from many small worries that stay in the mind all day. Worries about the future, about money, about studies, and about relationships slowly build tension inside. Because mental health is not often talked about openly, many people think they must deal with everything alone. They hide their feelings and keep smiling, even when they feel tired inside. Over time, this emotional weight can become overwhelming. Taking care of the mind is just as important as taking care of the body. The mind needs attention, rest, and understanding. Simple habits like quiet reflection deep breathing, or writing thoughts down can help clear mental space. Spending time away from constant noise and screens gives the mind a chance to relax. Mental care is not about removing all problems. It is about learning how to face them calmly and clearly. Rest is often misunderstood as laziness. Many young people feel guilty when they rest. They believe they must always be productive. But rest is a basic human need. Without rest, the mind becomes tired and confused. Balance between work and rest helps energy return naturally. True self-care is not escape. It is recovery. It is giving yourself permission to pause without feeling ashamed. Self-kindness is another important part of mental health. Many people speak harshly to themselves. They criticize their mistakes and compare their progress with others. This inner voice can become very negative. Learning to be kind to yourself means speaking with understanding, not judgment. It means accepting that growth takes time. No one becomes confident, successful, or peaceful overnight. Asking for help is often seen as weakness, especially in cultures that value strength and independence. But asking for help is actually a sign of courage. Talking to a friend, a family member, or a professional can bring relief and clarity. Sharing your thoughts allows emotional pressure to leave the mind. You do not have to solve everything alone. Everyone needs support at different times in life. If I could speak to my younger self, I would say this: your mental health matters more than your image. Take care of your mind with patience and respect. Life is not only about achievement, it is also about peace. When you learn to care for your inner world, everything outside becomes easier to handle. You don't need to have everything figured out. One of the biggest pressures we feel when we are young is the idea that we must have everything figured out early in life. At 18, many people believe they should already know who they want to be, what job they want, where they want to live, and how their future will look. This belief creates anxiety and fear. When answers are not clear, people start to feel behind, lost, or broken. But the truth is simple and comforting. Life does not work that way for most people. Life is not a race. There is no fixed timeline that everyone must follow. Some people find their path early, and others find it much later. Neither is better or worse. Society often celebrates fast success, but it rarely shows the confusion, mistakes, and slow progress behind it. When you compare your journey with someone else's, you forget one important thing. You are living a different life, with different experiences, strengths, and challenges. Everyone moves at a different speed, and that speed can change many times. You may move fast in one area of life and slow in another. You may feel confident one year and unsure the next. This is normal. Growth is not straight. It goes forward, backward, sideways, and sometimes it feels like it stops completely. But even during quiet periods, learning is happening inside you. Growth takes time because real growth happens deep within. Confidence, clarity, and wisdom are built through experience, not planning. You learn by trying, failing, adjusting, and trying again. Many lessons only make sense after you live them. Wanting everything figured out too early can actually block growth because it creates fear of mistakes. When you accept uncertainty, you give yourself space to explore and learn. Perfection is another heavy pressure. Many people wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, or the perfect version of themselves before starting. But perfection is an illusion. Life moves through imperfect steps. Progress is made by small actions, not perfect ones. Doing something imperfectly is always better than doing nothing perfectly in your mind. Choosing progress over perfection changes how you live. It allows you to start even when you feel unsure. It allows you to learn while moving forward. Small steps create momentum. Momentum creates confidence. Confidence creates clarity. This process cannot be rushed, and it does not need to be. If I could speak to my younger self, I would say this: relax. You are not late. You are exactly where you need to be to learn your next lesson. Trust your pace. Stay curious. Take small steps. Life will slowly make sense, not all at once, but piece by piece. Learning English changed my life. Learning English changed my life in ways I never expected. At first, English was just another subject, another skill that felt difficult and far away. I did not see it as something powerful. I thought it was only useful for exams or school. But slowly, as I continued learning, I began to understand that English is more than a language. It is a bridge. It connects people, ideas, cultures, and opportunities across the world. English is useful because it opens doors. Many books, courses, and ideas are available in English. When you understand English, you gain access to a much bigger world of knowledge. You can learn from people in different countries. You can watch videos, listen to podcasts, and read articles that help you grow personally and professionally. English gives you more choices, and with more choices comes more freedom. Confidence is one of the biggest gifts English gave me. At the beginning, I felt shy and afraid to speak. I worried about making mistakes. I worried about my accent. But every small effort made me a little stronger. When I realized I could understand and express myself, my confidence slowly grew. Speaking a new language teaches you courage. It teaches you that mistakes are part of learning, not something to be ashamed of. English also creates opportunities. It can help you study abroad, work with international companies, or communicate with people from different backgrounds. Even simple conversations can lead to meaningful connections. When you speak English, you are not limited to one place or one community. You become part of a global conversation. This feeling of connection is powerful and motivating. Learning English did not happen quickly for me. It was slow and sometimes frustrating. There were days when I wanted to give up, but consistency made the difference. I learned a little every day. I listened, repeated, and practiced patiently. Over time, those small efforts added up. Language learning is not about speed. It is about persistence. If you are learning English now, I want you to know that your effort matters. Even when progress feels invisible, your brain is learning. Every word you understand and every sentence you speak is a step forward. Do not compare your journey with others. Focus on your own growth. Learning English is not just about speaking better. It is about thinking differently. It helps you see the world through new perspectives. It helps you communicate your thoughts and feelings with clarity. It gives you confidence to step into new situations. If I could speak to you directly, I would say this: keep going. Learn slowly. Be patient with yourself. English can change your life too. Not in one big moment, but through many small moments that build a stronger, more confident version of you. Final reflection. If I could talk to my 18-year-old self. If I could sit quietly in front of my 18-year-old self, I would not start with advice. I would start with understanding. I would look at that young face full of hope, fear, energy, and confusion, and I would say, "You are not weak for feeling lost." At that age, you carry many emotions at the same time. You want to grow fast, but you are unsure of the direction. You want certainty, but life feels unclear. I would tell my younger self that these feelings are not a problem. They are a sign that life is beginning. I would speak gently, because pressure is already heavy at 18. I would say, "You do not need to rush. You believe everyone else is moving faster than you, but you cannot see their doubts and struggles. You are comparing your inside with their outside. Slow down. Your life is not behind. It is unfolding in its own way. Trust that growth happens quietly, even when you cannot see it yet." I would remind my younger self to listen more and prove less. You do not need to show the world that you are smart or strong. True strength grows from curiosity and humility. Listen to people who care about you. Learn from those who have walked longer paths. You do not have to copy their lives, but you can learn from their experiences. Wisdom often arrives through listening, not speaking. I would tell my 18-year-old self that mistakes are not enemies. They will hurt, yes, but they will also shape you. Every mistake will teach you something important about yourself. Do not carry shame from failure. Carry lessons. You are allowed to try, fall, and stand again. This is how confidence is built, not through perfection, but through resilience. I would also remind my younger self to take care of the mind and heart. You will spend years trying to improve your skills and your future. But do not forget your inner world. Rest when you are tired. Be kind when you are struggling. You do not need to be hard on yourself to succeed. Peace is not a reward at the end of life. It is something you must protect along the way. Finally, I would offer hope. I would say, your future is not fixed. Many things will change. Some dreams will grow, others will fade, and new ones will appear. You will become wiser than you imagined today. Life will teach you lessons slowly, but it will teach them well. Keep walking. Keep learning. Keep believing in yourself, even on days when confidence feels far away. You are doing better than you think, and your story is only beginning. As we come to the end of this episode, I want to slow everything down for a moment. We talked about many important ideas today. We talked about youth, pressure, time, money, failure, friendships, mental health, learning, and growth. All of these lessons point to one simple truth. Life is not something you need to rush or fully understand right now. It is something you experience step by step, while learning along the way. You are allowed to grow slowly. Before you move on with your day, take a quiet moment to reflect. Think about one idea from this podcast that stayed with you. It does not need to be a big realization. Even a small thought is enough. Reflection helps learning settle into the mind. When you pause and think, you turn listening into understanding. This is how real change begins, gently and naturally. I want to ask you one simple question, and you do not need to answer it out loud. Just let it sit with you. If you could give one kind piece of advice to your younger self, what would it be? This question is not about regret. It is about compassion, awareness, and growth. The answer may change over time, and that is okay. As you continue your English learning journey, remember that language grows the same way life does. Slowly, with patience and practice. Try to listen again to parts of this episode. Repeat sentences. Speak your thoughts in English, even if they are simple. Every small effort counts. This is how confidence is built, one calm step at a time. Thank you for spending this time with me on Code Your English. I hope this episode gave you peace, clarity, and gentle motivation. Keep learning, keep reflecting, and keep moving forward in your own way. I will be here with you on the next episode.